Welcome to the third lecture on gas turbines. This is from the fifth module of fluid machinery course. In this lecture, we will discuss the optimum pressure ratio, that is RP optimum, for maximum specific work output. Along with that, we will discuss the merits and demerits of closed cycle gas turbine over open cycle gas turbine. These are the relevant questions to be answered. We have to prove that the pressure ratio for maximum specific work output, that is optimum pressure ratio, in a gas turbine cycle is a function of the limiting temperature ratio. Limiting temperature ratio means the maximum temperature divided by the minimum temperature in the cycle, that is T3 by T1 if you consider the cycle 1, 2, 3, 4. This question can be asked in a different way. Obtain the optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output in a gas turbine. There are two cases involved. One, without considering the machine efficiencies, that is compressor and turbine efficiencies. And the second case, we have to consider the machine efficiencies. That means the first case, we will be talking about the ideal cycle, and in the second case, we will be considering the actual working cycle. And we know that in the TS plot, the Brayton cycle, the ideal one is represented by 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That is a closed cycle, ideal gas turbine cycle. We are familiar with the processes involved. Even we derived the expression for its air standard efficiency. And the actual cycle is 1, 2 dash, 3, 4 dash, 1 if you ignore the pressure drop in the heating chamber as well as the cooling chamber. That means we will be considering the compressor efficiency and the turbine efficiency. We are familiar with the ideal Brayton cycle both in PV diagram as well as TS diagram. I do not want to repeat that, but I want you to recollect the isentropic process 1, 2 and the isentropic expansion process in the turbine 3, 4. This 1, 2 is isentropic compression process in the compressor in the ideal case. And I want you to recollect the pressure temperature relationship during the isentropic processes. In order to get the optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output, first of all we have to write down what is the expression for the net work output, and in specific terms, that means the work done per kilogram of air. We know that during isentropic compression, the specific work done on air, that is given by Cp into T2 minus T1. And in the case of isentropic expansion in the turbine, the process is 3, 4. The work done by the hot air, that is Cp into T3 minus T4 in the ideal case. So the specific work done by the air during the isentropic expansion is given by Cp into T3 minus T4. We know that the net work output you can find in two ways for a closed cycle, that is heat received per cycle minus heat rejected per cycle, that will give you the work done, net work done. Otherwise, you can find out by subtracting the compressor work from the turbine work. These are the important relations we derived earlier. Air standard efficiency of Brayton cycle, the ideal one, is 1 minus 1 by Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. I want you to recollect what is the pressure ratio Rp. The pressure ratio is P2 by P1 and that is equal to P3 by P4. We know that during the isentropic compression 1 to 2, the temperature pressure relationship is T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma, and P2 by P1 is the pressure ratio Rp. So you can write T2 by T1 is equal to Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Also, during the isentropic expansion 3-4, T3 by T4 is equal to P3 by P4 raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. We know that Rp is equal to P3 by P4, which is equal to P2 by P1. Therefore, T3 by T4 is also equal to Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. So in short, this is the expression you have to recollect in order to get an expression for the optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output from the ideal gas turbine cycle and also from the actual gas turbine cycle. We will consider the first case now, that is without considering the compressor and turbine efficiencies. In the case of ideal cycle, the processes involved are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2 isentropic compression, 2, 3 is the constant pressure heat addition, and 3, 4 is the isentropic expansion, and 4, 1 is the constant pressure heat rejection in the cooling chamber. We are familiar with the processes in the ideal cycle already. Straight away we will do the derivation now. Net specific work output, that is the specific work output per unit mass of air or unit mass of gas, that is equal to work done by the turbine minus work done on the compressor. Remember, we are talking about the specific work done, that is work done per unit mass of air. So W34 minus W12. Remember, we are considering the ideal isentropic expansion 3-4 and the isentropic compression 1-2. So W34 minus W12. And we already know that the specific work done by the turbine, that is Cp into T3 minus T4. And the specific work done on the compressor is given by Cp into T2 minus T1. So when you subtract the compressor work from the turbine work, we will get the net work output. So W net is equal to Cp into T3 minus T4 minus T2 minus T1. That is, Cp is taken out common. Now we will be concentrating on the temperature limits. See, the minimum temperature in the cycle, we know that it is T1, that is at inlet to the compressor. Usually that is the atmospheric temperature. And T3, that is the maximum temperature in the cycle, that prevails at the outlet of the combustion chamber or entry to the turbine. Actually, that is constrained by the metallurgical limit of the blades of the turbine. And T3 is equal to T max, T1 is equal to T minimum. If you take T3 common from T3 minus T4, what you can get is T3 into 1 minus T4 by T3. And if you take T1 common from T2 minus T1, then what you can get is T1 into T2 by T1 minus 1. Now our expression is Cp into within bracket T3 into 1 minus T4 by T3, then minus T1 into T2 by T1 minus 1. You know why we have written this expression is just because we have to replace this T4 by T3 and T2 by T1 in terms of the pressure ratio. We can do that because we know that T3 by T4 is equal to P3 by P4, that is the pressure ratio Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Also T2 by T1, that is also equal to P2 by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. P2 by P1 is Rp. We know that P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P4 is equal to the pressure ratio R suffix P. So what you can get is, if you replace T4 by T3 by this pressure ratio raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Remember, T3 by T4 is Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Therefore, T4 by T3 will be 1 by Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. And also T2 by T1 is equal to Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. So simply replace T4 by T3 and T2 by T1 by the corresponding expressions in terms of the pressure ratio Rp. So what you can get is Cp into within bracket T3 into 1 minus 1 by Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma minus T1 into Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. In order to simplify our further procedure, what we will do is, we will replace this index gamma minus 1 by gamma by the letter A, because gamma minus 1 by gamma, after all, that is a constant. Gamma is the ratio of specific heats. So we will replace gamma minus 1 by gamma by the letter A. So what you can get is W net is equal to Cp into within bracket T3 into another bracket 1 minus 1 by Rp raised to A minus T1 into Rp raised to A minus 1. Why do we do this? Because now in our expression Cp we assume that it is a constant, then T3 and T1 are the maximum and the minimum temperatures in the cycle. Now Rp is the pressure ratio. Now we got the specific work output from the cycle in the ideal case or the ideal cycle in terms of the pressure ratio and the temperature limits. Now what do we do? For the maximum specific work output from the cycle, we can differentiate this expression for W net with respect to the pressure ratio and equate it to 0. So that is in order to maximize this specific net work output from the cycle. So dW net by dRp, Rp is the pressure ratio, we will find that and equate it to 0 for maximum specific work output from the cycle. So for W net maximum, what do? We take the derivative of W net with respect to the pressure ratio Rp and equate it to 0. Apart from Rp, the rest can be treated as constant because we are going to differentiate the expression for W net with respect to the pressure ratio. Now the pressure ratio alone is the variable here. So take the derivative of this expression with respect to Rp and equate it to 0. Even though this is a long expression, taking the derivative is simple. So what can we do? Cp can be taken out of the derivative as it is a constant and it is not equal to 0, so the rest of the part must be equal to 0. So the derivative of the whole expression with respect to Rp is equal to 0 now. And what can we do next? So T3, if you differentiate the first term, that is T3 into 1 minus Rp raised to minus A, and just differentiate Rp raised to minus A, because that is the variable part with respect to which you are doing the differentiation. So T3 into the derivative of 1 with respect to Rp is 0, and derivative of Rp raised to minus A, that is minus A into Rp raised to minus A minus 1. When you differentiate x raised to n with respect to x, you will get n x raised to n minus 1. So we will use that to differentiate Rp raised to minus A, and when you differentiate it, the first term you will get 0 minus A into Rp raised to minus A minus 1. Now the second term minus T1 into Rp raised to A minus 1. When you do the differentiation, derivative of Rp raised to A, that is A into Rp raised to A minus 1, and the derivative of 1 with respect to Rp is 0. And now we found out the derivative of the left hand side, and it has to be equated to 0 in order to get the condition for maximum specific work output. From this, minus of minus is plus, and a into rp raised to minus a minus 1. So negative side from the index can be taken out. So you will get minus of a plus 1. So T3 into a into rp raised to minus of a plus 1, then minus the second term T1 into a into rp raised to a minus 1, and that is equal to 0. Now we can take the second term to the right hand side, and along with that we will simplify further. See this, there is one a on both sides, that will be getting cancelled, and what remains is T3 divided by rp raised to a plus 1. When you take rp raised to minus a plus 1 to the denominator, the index will become positive. So therefore T3 divided by rp raised to a plus 1, that will remain in the left hand side, and the right hand side now T1 into rp raised to a minus 1. Remember, a is already cancelled. So T3 divided by T1, taking the temperature T1 to the left hand side and rp raised to a plus 1 to the right hand side. So T3 by T1 is equal to rp raised to a minus 1 into rp raised to a plus 1. If you simplify this, you will get rp raised to a minus 1 plus a plus 1, then minus 1 and plus 1, that will be cancelled. So if you simplify rp raised to a minus 1 into rp raised to a plus 1 by a raised to m into a raised to n, that is a raised to m plus n, the indices can be added, then what remains is rp raised to 2a, a plus a and minus 1 and plus 1 will be cancelled. So rp raised to 2a is there on the right hand side, and the left hand side we have T3 by T1. Now we will reinstate the constant a. Earlier we have substituted gamma minus 1 by gamma as a. So we will restore that. Rp raised to 2 into gamma minus 1 by gamma. So what you can get now, T3 by T1 is Rp optimum raised to 2a. So that is Rp optimum raised to 2 into, instead of a, you replace gamma minus 1 by gamma. T3 by T1 is equal to Rp optimum raised to 2 into gamma minus 1 by gamma. We have to find out Rp optimum. Take the index to the other side. It will become the reciprocal of it. So Rp optimum is equal to T3 by T1 raised to gamma by 2 into gamma minus 1. See, gamma is a constant, that is a ratio of specific heats. Gamma is equal to Cp by Cv of the gas involved in the cycle. So Rp optimum is equal to the ratio of temperature limits, maximum by minimum, raised to gamma by 2 into gamma minus 1. From this it is clear that the optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output from the cycle is a function of the limiting temperature ratio. Limiting temperature ratio is T3 by T1. Don't forget, T3 is T max and T1 is equal to T minimum in the cycle. Now we will consider the second case, that is, we will try to find out the expression for optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output by considering the machine efficiencies, that is compressor efficiency and the turbine efficiency. We are familiar with the actual compression 1 to 2 dash, whereas isentropic compression is 1 to 2, and actual expansion is 3 to 4 dash, and isentropic expansion in the turbine represented by 3-4. Now we are familiar with the isentropic efficiency of compression already. Isentropic efficiency in terms of the ratio of difference in temperatures at the state points 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 dash. The isentropic efficiency of compression represented by eta C in terms of the difference in temperatures between 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 dash can be expressed as T2 minus T1 divided by T2 dash minus T1. Isentropic efficiency of compression is the ratio of isentropic work done to the actual work done on the compressor. So that can be expressed as T2 minus T1 divided by T2 dash minus T1, because Cp in both numerator and denominator will be cancelled. So it will be left with only the ratio of the relevant differences in temperatures. Now the actual expansion is represented by 3 to 4 dash, and the respective temperature difference is T3 minus T4 dash, and the isentropic expansion is 3 to 4. So the temperature difference is T3 minus T4. Isentropic efficiency of expansion is the ratio of actual work done by the turbine to the isentropic work done by the turbine. So the isentropic efficiency of expansion can be expressed as T3 minus T4 dash divided by T3 minus T4. Now the specific work output W, that is W turbine minus W compressor. But remember, here you have to consider the actual work done by the turbine and the actual work done on the compressor, both in specific terms, that is per unit mass of air. So W net is equal to W, that is equal to Cp. W net can be represented by W, that is equal to Cp into T3 minus T4 dash, because 3 to 4 dash, that is the actual expansion, and actual compression is 1 to 2 dash. So therefore the actual work done on the compressor is Cp into T2 dash minus T1. Actual work done by the turbine, that is Cp into T3 minus T4 dash. The difference that will give you the net work output in specific terms. Now you can replace this T2 dash minus T1 by T2 minus T1 divided by isentropic efficiency of compression, that is T2 dash minus T1 is equal to T2 minus T1 divided by eta C, and also T3 minus T4 dash dealing with the actual expansion process, the temperature difference, that can be now replaced in terms of the isentropic efficiency of expansion and the isentropic expansion temperature limits or temperature difference T3 minus T4. So what you can do is T3 minus T4 dash can be replaced by eta suffix T multiplied by T3 minus T4. So T3 minus T4 can be replaced by eta suffix T multiplied by T3 minus T4, and T2 dash minus T1 can be replaced by T2 minus T1 divided by eta suffix C. Now this is the expression for W, specific work output in the actual case, and now we have to manipulate this expression by taking T3 outside from the first term and T1 outside from the second term. Cp is already common. So Cp into, see what you can do is within the bracket eta suffix T is already there. Now from T3 minus T4 you take T3 outside. So T3 into 1 minus T4 by T3. And now from the second term Cp has already been taken out, and then into T1 that you are taking out now. T1 divided by eta C is already there in the denominator. So T1 by eta C is outside the bracket, and within the bracket there will be T2 by T1 minus 1, because you are taking T1 outside. Why do you do this? Because T4 by T3 and T2 by T1 you can write in terms of the pressure ratio, because we already know T3 by T4 during the isentropic expansion, that is equal to Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma, where Rp is P3 by P4, and T2 by T1, that is during the temperature ratio during the isentropic compression, so that is also given by the pressure ratio raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma, because Rp is also equal to P2 by P1. So you are now going to replace this T4 by T3 and T2 by T1 in the expression for the specific net work output by the respective pressure ratio terms. So now what you can do next? So W is equal to Cp into, within bracket we already got eta suffix T into T3, and within the bracket earlier we got 1 minus T4 by T3, and T3 by T4 is Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Therefore T4 by T3 is 1 by Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Then in the second term, we already got T1 by eta c out. Then within bracket, we had T2 by T1. And T2 by T1, you know that it is Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Then minus 1 that remains there. Now this expression contains Cp value, which is considered to be constant, and the isentropic efficiency of expansion eta suffix T, isentropic efficiency of compression eta suffix C, the temperature limits T3, that is maximum temperature, and minimum temperature T1, and the pressure ratio Rp. And now what you can do is, in order to simplify the index, gamma minus 1 by gamma can be replaced by the letter A as in the previous case. So W is equal to Cp into eta suffix T into T3 into 1 minus 1 by this Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma can be replaced by 1 by Rp raised to A. Now minus T1 by eta c into Rp raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma then becomes Rp raised to A, then minus 1. Now you are in a position to obtain a condition for maximum specific work output from the actual cycle by differentiating this expression for net work output with respect to the pressure ratio and equating it to 0. Remember, only the pressure ratio in that case will be the variable and the rest will be constants. So maximum specific work output, you take the derivative of W with respect to Rp and equate that to 0. So how can you do that? Cp is a constant, you can take out of the derivative. Then d by drp of the whole remaining expression you can do. You take Cp outside and take the derivative of the remaining expression with respect to Rp, you can get the following. So d by drp of eta suffix t into T3 into 1 minus Rp raised to minus A minus T1 by eta c into Rp raised to A minus 1. After taking the derivative, you equate it to 0. Cp is not equal to 0, the rest of the quantities therefore must be 0. So what you can do is take the derivative and equate it to 0 now. And when you take the derivative, eta suffix t into T3, that is outside the bracket, and when you take the derivative of 1, that constant, that is 0. Derivative of Rp raised to minus A. How did you get Rp raised to minus A? Because this is 1 by Rp raised to A. So when Rp raised to A is taken to the numerator, it becomes Rp raised to minus A. Now you take the derivative, just like you take the derivative of x raised to n with respect to x. You take the derivative of Rp raised to minus A with respect to Rp. So what you can get is the first term, that is 0, derivative is 0. Now this term, the derivative is minus A, that index multiplied by Rp raised to minus A minus 1. And now the second term, when you do the differentiation, T1 by eta c, that's constant part, into Rp raised to A, when you differentiate with respect to Rp, that is A into Rp raised to A minus 1. Then minus derivative of 1, that is 0. And this, the whole expression is equal to 0 now. On simplification and taking the second term to the right hand side, what you can get? This minus of minus will become plus. Then 0 plus this term, that means that term itself, and from the index minus A minus 1, as we had done previously in the earlier case, minus is taken outside and minus of that index becomes minus of A plus 1. Therefore eta t into T3 into A into Rp raised to minus of A plus 1, that is on the left hand side. Now taking the second term to the right hand side, that is now T1 by eta c into A into Rp raised to A minus 1. Remember, now this Rp has become Rp optimum because you have done the differentiation and you have equated the left hand side to 0. So now this Rp pressure ratio is the optimum pressure ratio. Now we are going to simplify that. Now for simplification, you can take T1 by eta c to the left hand side and the pressure ratio Rp raised to minus of A plus 1 to the right hand side. Remember, this Rp is now Rp optimum. So what you can get? Eta t into eta c into T3 divided by this T1. When it comes to the left hand side, it will go to the denominator, and that is equal to, on the right hand side, now Rp raised to a minus 1, and then this Rp optimum raised to minus of a plus 1, and when that is taken to the right hand side, it will become Rp raised to a plus 1. That is eta suffix T into eta suffix C into the temperature ratio T3 by T1 is equal to Rp optimum raised to a minus 1 and Rp optimum raised to a plus 1. Now what you can do is, this is just like a raised to m into a raised to n, indices can be added up. So Rp optimum raised to a minus 1 plus a plus 1. And what remains is a plus a. So Rp optimum raised to 2a. That is on one side, and on the other side we have the product eta t, eta c and T3 by T1. So Rp raised to 2a is equal to eta suffix t into eta suffix c into T3 by T1. And now we will try to restore the value of a. What is a? A is equal to gamma minus 1 by gamma. So now what you can do is, you have to find out Rp. Remember, this Rp is Rp optimum. So Rp optimum is equal to taking this index 2a to the other side. Rp optimum as the product of eta t into eta c into T3 by T1, the whole raised to 1 by 2a. Now restore the value of a. So a is equal to gamma minus 1 by gamma. So therefore, optimum pressure ratio Rp optimum is equal to eta suffix T into eta suffix C into T3 by T1, that is the ratio of temperature limits, the whole raised to gamma by 2 into gamma minus 1. Because this is 1 by 2a and you are replacing a by this expression gamma minus 1 by gamma. So when you take the reciprocal and bring it to the numerator, it will become, the index will become gamma by 2 into gamma minus 1. So this is the expression for optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output when you consider the compressor and turbine efficiencies. That is, when you consider the actual gas turbine cycle. Optimum pressure ratio for maximum specific work output from the actual cycle is a function of limiting temperature ratio and the isentropic efficiencies of compression and expansion. Now we will discuss the merits and demerits of closed cycle gas turbine over open cycle gas turbine. We are familiar with both. You know that in closed cycle gas turbine, the working substance is recirculated in each cycle. In open cycle gas turbine, every new cycle involves the intake of fresh air into the compressor. In the case of closed cycle gas turbine, the working fluid is recirculated during each cycle, whereas in the case of open cycle gas turbine, fresh charge is admitted to the compressor during each cycle, and after compression, combustion and expansion, the products of combustion will be exhausted out into the atmosphere. For a given temperature limits, maximum and minimum temperature limits, closed cycle gas turbine has higher thermal efficiency than open cycle gas turbine. Now closed cycle gas turbine has reduced size compared to open cycle for the same power output. That means the size requirement of a gas turbine system when it works on closed cycle will be less per unit power output than the open cycle gas turbine. In the case of closed cycle gas turbine, there is no chance of contamination of the working fluid from outside. The closed cycle gas turbines have improved heat transmission capabilities. In closed cycle gas turbine, the working fluid is heated externally. Therefore, improved heat transfer can be observed in the case of closed cycle gas turbine. The closed cycle gas turbine has improved part load efficiency also compared to open cycle gas turbine. Lesser fluid friction is involved in the case of closed cycle gas turbine compared to open cycle gas turbine. There is no loss of working substance or working medium in the case of closed cycle gas turbine. And we can expect greater power output for a given size from closed cycle gas turbine compared to open cycle gas turbine. Since the working substance is heated externally in a closed cycle gas turbine, relatively inexpensive fuel can be used in them. Relatively inexpensive fuel in solid form, liquid form or gaseous form can be used in the case of closed cycle gas turbine compared to open cycle gas turbine. In open cycle gas turbine, quality fuel is required for the combustion because the combustion is the integral part of the open cycle gas turbine system. Now coming to the demerits of closed cycle gas turbines or the advantages of open cycle gas turbines. Closed cycle gas turbines is basically complex in nature. Even though it's a very clean cycle, it is complex in construction. In a closed cycle gas turbine, cooling chamber is involved. In order to cool the hot gas coming out of the turbine after expansion and to cool it and recirculate it into the compressor during the next cycle. Therefore, a large amount of cooling water is required because basically it is a heat exchanger. This limits the use of closed cycle gas turbine for stationary installation or marine applications. Because when you consider the marine applications, the water is available in abundance, so you can make use of that. But otherwise, for aircraft applications, this is not preferred. So open cycle gas turbines are preferred in aviation applications. And as a continuation to that, we can say that it is a dependent system. The closed cycle gas turbine performance is dependent on other components as well. The weight of the system per unit power developed is high comparatively. Therefore, it is not economical for moving vehicles. You should not be confused. Earlier we said the size of the turbine unit per unit power output. See, that is less in the case of closed cycle gas turbine. But remember, the weight of the closed cycle gas turbine system per unit power developed, that will be high compared to open cycle gas turbine. I repeat, the size of the system per unit power developed is less in the case of closed cycle gas turbine compared to open cycle gas turbine. In fact, that is the advantage of closed cycle gas turbine. But the weight of the closed cycle gas turbine system per unit power output is high comparatively. So it is not economical for moving vehicles where the weight to power ratio is required to be less. And it is in fact one of the prime concern when you use such a system for aviation applications. The weight of the system per unit power developed, so that should be less when you consider a gas turbine system for aviation applications. So in that case, open cycle gas turbine offers a smaller weight to power ratio. Another disadvantage of closed cycle gas turbine is it requires the use of very large air heater, because here you have the heating chamber in which the working substance is heated externally, whereas in the case of an open cycle gas turbine, the combustion chamber is an integral part of the unit. Suitable working fluid can be chosen for closed cycle gas turbine. So that means if you have working substance which have suitable properties, they can be used for closed cycle gas turbine, just like helium or helium carbon dioxide mixture can be used. They are having suitable properties for this gas turbine application. So in closed cycle gas turbine, we can employ suitable working fluid, whereas in open cycle gas turbine, air fuel mixture is preferred. It is important to note that since you are making use of air fuel mixture, the thermal efficiency of open cycle gas turbine is comparatively less compared to closed cycle gas turbine. With this, I wind up this lecture. Have a happy learning experience. Thank you so much.